Welcome to the second Kits and Cruising. Later, Nicola Hill introduces us to drag racing, but first...
Welcome to the 26th Billing Fun Run. It's organised by the National Street Rod Association and it's one of the premier events in Europe involving hot rods, and we're here to look around. I believe this is quite a famous van, Paul.
Yeah, it's an old drag car that a guy called Bob Swainborough built in the late 70s, and then he put it onto the street. And as it is now, it runs 11-second quarters, 125 mile an hour. It's got a 500 brake horse, big block Chevy in it. Pretty quick, yeah.
What are your plans today? What are you going to be up to today?
Just to sit around the sun, have a few beers with some friends and see some nice cars, hopefully.
So, Alan, you're a committee member of the NSRA. What's that?
The NSRA is the National Street Rod Association. It's the premier hot rod club in the UK. It's been formed for 26 years now, and we put a number of events on for our members. This event here has actually been held for 26 years now. This is the 26th year of it. And it's an event that we put on that the participants actually come along, they can show their cars, and we put different things on during the day. Yesterday we had some cruises into Northampton, which was attended by about 75 cars. So we drove along the car there, we stopped up for a picnic and we came back. We've had some other things happening today. We've actually had an event on how to polish cars, how to take care of cars. We've got some model dragsters running across in the background there. But primarily, it's enable our members to show the cars, as you see in the field here. What happens then is we actually have a number of categories that we judge these cars, and some of our sponsors actually bring some prizes forward as well. So about 4 o'clock, which is day 2 on the Sunday of the 2-day event, we'll be having some prize giving. And a lot of these people are quite extroverts. We like to show the cars off. So it's the cumulative part of a really fun weekend.
Right. Are you an exhibitionist as well? Do you have a car yourself?
Yeah, I am a little bit, yeah. I've got a car over there. Although I must admit, I'm not too much extrovert because I didn't bother even washing it to put it in the show. But yeah, I think you need to be in this sport. These cars are very expensive and they're very high tech, you know, because normally tend to be owner built. Very basic engineering, but all done by the owners, and that's what we like about it. It's a thing that we can actually really participate in, building, running, driving and showing the cars.
Have you ever participated in a burnout, and can you tell me what is the point?
Well, strictly speaking, I'd have to deny that because burnouts tend to be frowned on a little bit, but they are lots of fun, and we did have some burnout contests yesterday under very safe circumstances. We had a blocked off road. And what a burnout does is just actually shows the power of the car. Where we actually have a car on a tarmac road with some water on the back wheels. Most of these cars have got things called line locks fitted, where we can actually apply the front brakes only, and you can spin the back wheels, make some smoke, and shout rubber.
Is this yours here? Tell us a bit about this pickup.
This is a firm's truck. It's based on a 32 Ford. Basically, the bodywork's fiberglass and the rest is homemade. It's a mix and match of bits and pieces I've found over the years, keeping it cheap. And I put a diesel engine in it for economy because we use it all the time. And everybody else uses it as well. It gets loaned out quite a bit. So
what about other cars? Have you got anything on the go at the moment?
I've got a 58 Chevy I'm endeavouring to try and finish. But you know, you spend all your time fixing customers' cars. What can you do? It's in the workshop, it's been there a year, and hardly anything's been touched so far.
So is this the job that you've always wanted to do since you were a kid?
I started off in the bike trade. I did bikes 24 hours a day, got fed up, I thought I'll try something else. I did cars as a hobby. It seemed to be a bit successful, someone picked up on it, can you do mine? Here I am, 17 years later, got my own firm, a couple of blokes working for me. It's all gone big.
So tell us a bit about the different types of hot rods you can get.
Well, they start off with the old ones, like the one behind us, 1930s to 1940s. They go up to 39 is the cut-off year, which all the ones before they got flat windscreens, so they're hot rods. After that you get into customs, goes from 39 upwards. They become bigger, more rounded. Customs tend to go low ridery shapes, ever so low to the ground, big frontal area, all tapering off to the back. They look like they're going fast and they're standing still. From there on, it gets into more modern stuff. The theme at the moment was just dying out really is Pro Street, which is race influenced. You can more or less do it to any car. Biggest wheels you can get on the back, all inside the bodywork, plenty of engine, some sticking out the bonnet if you can get away with it. And that's about up to date. There's mini trucks on the sideline, various sorts of trucks. There's lots of variations, but they're the main classifications, I would say.
So Derek, you're from, or you own Triple Juice Hot Rods?
That's right, yes, I'm from Leicestershire.
Right, and I want a top rod. How do you go about it? Where would I come to buy one?
Well, basically, you can come to me for the bodies. I do the 32 Roadster replicas. It's roughly about a third scale of a 32 Roadster. I'm just supplying the bodies, and I also know a chap of mine who can supply the chassis, steering, brakes, anything to build the whole kit up. Bodies come out at £125, and then the chassis, etc., all very reasonably priced, but on application.
Sold many at the show today?
I sold, not at the moment because I've not been up that long actually, but
oh, I wonder why. We'll not talk about that.
Yeah, we've just got a bit of a thick head and this bright light doesn't help either. So, but yeah, they do sell very well, the 32s, because most people have been supplying 34s, and I'm the first one to be doing the 32 Roadsters, which are more popular anyway.
I believe you do helmets as well.
I certainly do, yes. Replica German helmets, all various colours and everything, but also I do all sorts of different body styles and all the extras that go with it as well.
So why the German? Is this just to keep the kids safe, or is it a bit of a joke?
No, this was just a Mickey take. I was around an auto jumble and I saw a German helmet, steel one, going cheap, so I thought, right, that'll do, I'll take a mould off that. So I'm quite known for taking moulds off anything that stands still long enough.
All right, well, thank you very much, and have a good day.
I'll certainly try.
When you're looking for a new car, it's good to look at all the options. We're lucky enough to found a couple of guys here who are looking or in the market for a new car. So, but there's a bit of a difference. It's Tot Rods. Hello, what are your names?
I'm Daniel. Jack.
Right, so let's have a look at what we've got here. What's your favourite one amongst all of these Tot Rods here?
Probably this purple one here with the flames on.
Yeah? Why is it your favourite?
Because I like the colours of all the flames, and it's wide enough for me and my brother to fit inside it.
Right, okay. What about this next one? Are you fussy? Are you quite fussy about what you choose?
We were going to have this one because I could have gone in the back and Daniel could have driven the Tot Rod.
Yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it, to have that on the back? But you can always fit one anyway, I suppose, can't you?
Yeah.
So
I quite like the colour of this one as well, though.
Yeah, the purple and the flames.
It might be that one instead.
So what about this one? Is this they seem to have bigger wheels on this?
Yeah,
That's
I
quite
like the colour green, and I like the pinstriping on it. These lines here.
You're quite into the colour. The colour's very important, is
but
it?
it can't fit both of us in, so...
Well, that would be no good because you'd be fighting over it, wouldn't you? This is a bit of a sporty one.
Yeah.
Nice grille on the front.
Yeah, I quite like these red flamey bits on it, and it's got thicker than some of the wheels, but not as thick as the others.
Yeah.
So it's quite a good car.
Now, where would you be when you do get a car? Where would you be driving it?
Probably around my road at the moment, because I'll be driving it around the block and everything.
Right,
probably.
so I believe, Jack, that your dad's building you one at the moment. What's that going to be like?
It's going to be like our dad's one, but it's going to be like it and have like a base bit at the back, but it'll only be able to fit like one in the front and one at the back.
Oh, right.
And like three, unlike my dad's has like three in the back and two at the front.
When's that going to be finished?
Probably about next year, because my dad doesn't really have the time to be able to finish it at the moment.
Well,
you might have to do. So my Daniel might have to do it all, mightn't you, Dan?
Yeah.
Right then. So, good luck with your Tot Rod. What colour is it gonna be?
Black. We're probably going to have flames on it. So.
I see you like your flames, don't you?
Yeah. We're gonna have like a skull at the front and then flames coming along.
Wow. Well,
because my dad was going to put it on his truck, but Mum said no, so we're going to put it on our Tot Rod instead.
Because my mum doesn't like that type of stuff, so.
Do you think I'll be able to fit in it when it's done?
Yeah, probably, because it's going to be quite a big one.
All right, good. Well, I'll have to come round and have a go. We've just given you a small taste of what went on this weekend. I mean, some of it we really couldn't put on camera, believe me, it was such good fun. But if you want to see more, look out for some of your local shows, and I can guarantee you'll have a great time.
We're all kits and cruising!
Welcome to Elsecar Heritage Centre. It's the first time this venue has ever been used for a hot rod meet, so we came to have a look. Some people are just natural born showmen. I just got to get myself one of those. We'll come back later and take another look.
More from Elsecar next week. In part 2, Pen Roberts explains single vehicle approval, important new legislation which affects the specialist car industry. And Cathy Brookes actually stays awake? Also in part 2, NICOLA Hill brings us that report from Santa Pod.
Pen, this is my first kit car show and I keep hearing S.V.A. Pen, what exactly is it all about?
To most manufacturers it's a real groin strain, but basically it goes back to 1972. I mean, it's a long story, believe me, but it goes back to 72 when Norman Fowler, who was then the Minister of Transport, granted an exemption for amateur-built cars. Now this was fine. All you had to do was go and get an MOT on your kit-built vehicle, you got it registered in whatever registration number was available, boom, you were on the road. This was fine for some of the good ones. Some of the bad kits that got on the road between 72 and 79, you are some frightening stuff, really bad. Yeah. So basically, having made a rod for their own backs, the government then decided that it would be a really good idea to bring in a set of laws concurrent with Europe, or what is passing for European legislation, and S.V.A. was born as an idea. It's taken forever. It's still going on. And what it is a sort of mini type approval. You have to have your car tested at a special testing station. Right? Normally these testing stations test lorries, right? But for £200, which is the current figure, you build your car and it has to live up to certain requirements. Right? Now this is down to the manufacturer and then it gets passed on to the guy in the street who's buying the kit. So fair enough. Most of it involves engineering integrity, structures and radiuses, and the thing that is causing the biggest amount of problem is radii or radiuses. I'm not sure what the right word is. They have a set of parameters that go, if everything isn't curved, you've had it. No sharp projections. In type approval language, it's called exterior projections in real type approval. So everybody got very worried in the kit and replica market, particularly the replica market, because of all these angular nice little bits that you have on all the, the nice whizzy bits, period. They've had to change all those. Those have had to be rounded and curved, and they are measured with like a ball on a stick, and they, push it in, and if it doesn't fit round that, no good. Now a lot of manufacturers think that this is going to open the door to Europe, and it isn't, because the Germans aren't going to accept it for a start. Right? It is solely for the UK. Unfortunately, and typical of the government, who any government is particularly useless when it comes to motor car legislation, they've come across a bit of a flaw, in as much as this has opened the door to Japanese and foreign imports being able to be registered in this country without having to be type approved in any form whatsoever. All they've got to be able to do is pass S.V.A. Now, to our knowledge now, there's 20,000 imported Japanese cars sitting in a field in Wales waiting for S.V.A, which has been put back and back and back, and we are now coming up for May. It's supposed to be then, it's possibly June, it could be July. Everybody's tried to do their pre-testing. Everybody's tried to do pre-testing so that their cars will go through, so that consumers aren't worried by it. It is a small piece of legislation, and really there's no crash testing involved, and that's really where it should be. Right? The point being that S.V.A is an important step on the ladder to proper integration with Europe as far as kit cars are concerned. Whether the Europeans will ever accept it as a thing, as a piece of law, it's in the lap of the gods, seriously in the lap of the gods. But it'll happen, and everybody's got to comply with it, and if they don't comply with it, the cars won't get registered.
And there'll be a lot of people out of business, you think?
Certainly a few manufacturers will be forced to alter their cars in such a way as to detract from the way the car was. There are only so many of these testing stations in the UK. If all of a sudden 20,000 Japanese imports come hurtling at these stations, the kit car people are going to have a real struggle getting their cars registered just on a time basis. A lot of people in this industry are saying it's a good thing because it does give some margins of safety.
And that is very important, obviously.
Oh, extremely important, because if you go hark back to the old days, well, we had an industry which you just didn't know what was going on. So there you go, that's S.V.A as best we can say at this time.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Yes, so that does make sense.
I'm glad it did. Ah, my pleasure.
We're Kits and Cruisin!
Today I'm here at the F.I.A European Drag Race Championship at Santa Pod. Now, if you've never witnessed drag racing before, fasten your seatbelts, brace yourself, and take a look at this. Now this weekend is going to be very exciting, but there's one man aiming to top the bill, and that's Britain's leading drag racer, Barry SHEAVILLS. Now Barry, you race the top fuel in the dragster classes.
Yeah.
What's your main ambition for this weekend?
Well, this weekend obviously I'd like to win, but my main ambition is to run the first 4 here at Santa Pod Raceway. That's to do the standing start quarter of a mile in under 5 seconds.
So Barry, how does it feel to reach 300 miles per hour?
That's a good question because I haven't done it yet, but it's I've 287's my quickest terminal speed at the end of the quarter mile, and obviously it's pretty exhilarating.
What's sort of going through your mind, or do you not even have time to think about it? Is it just a case of that's it, over and done with?
Well, basically, I mean, a lot of people say, do you blink? And obviously there's a lot going on inside the cockpit, so I don't even know whether I blink, really. I mean, it all happens so quickly.
Can you give me some idea of how this thing works then?
Yeah, well, here is the fuel tank. Uses nitromethane, which is high explosive, and it takes 14 gallons in quarter of a mile. Why we do that, and why the tank's at the front, obviously, is when you leave the line, you need a lot of weight at the front, so the tank's right up front, and as you go down the quarter mile, obviously the fuel's going down, and the front wings then come into play, keep the front end down, and obviously this gets lighter and lighter.
Okay, so this is the cockpit. It's a bit empty, so Can you explain everything in here then?
Well, obviously you don't need many gauges and things like that, so this is a blower, the supercharger gauge, and then there's just a throttle and a clutch and a brake.
So what do you do when you get in? What do you do? Just put your foot on the accelerator and that's it?
Well, yeah.
Now Barry, this is a bit more complicated than my Fiesta 1.1.
Yeah.
Can you sort of go through the stages a bit with me?
Basically, your Fiesta 1.1 would produce probably 75 brake horsepower. This particular 500 cubic inch engine produces 6,000 horsepower. Up here is the injector air intake. Here's the supercharger. 2 fuel pumps deliver about 65 gallons of fuel a minute. And here is the magnetos, and all these power packs here are for the magnetos, and you could actually weld with those. Today we'll come back and look at the computer and see that we've got most of the settings right. Saturday we'll go out again, change a few things, try it again, probably do a little bit further. Then on Saturday, by Saturday evening, we will do a full pass, and then we'll go into, on Sunday, we will do a full pass and then go into competition on Monday and hopefully win the competition and try and set a new record along the way.
Well, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
All right, and we'll come and watch you later on.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. With me now is Keith Bartlett, Chief Executive of Santapod. Hi, Keith.
Hi.
Hi, can you tell us what's going on this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend is the first round of the 1998 F.I.A. European Drag Racing Championship, which is now in its third year and really is becoming a very established motorsport F.I.A. championship now.
How long have you actually been involved with drag racing in Santapod?
Oh, far too long. I used to race up here and then I ran a professional team here, and then I walked away from that, took a sabbatical away from drag racing for 4 or 5 years, and then came back and started managing all the top professional teams and built a championship up around Europe, which gradually, organically and developed into the F.I.A. championship we have today. I also acquired the track in March 1996.
Since the F.I.A. have taken it on, do you think it's become more popular with the public?
Yeah, I think it establishes credibility. Perhaps more than the public, what happens is TV broadcasters, sponsors, corporations, everyone begins to realise this is becoming a very strong championship. I've worked very closely with the FIA and Bernie Ecclestone to develop this championship. And really what it is a credibility factor for the championship. From the public's point, what it means is they're going to see a hell of a lot of better race cars at the race circuits at each country it goes to.
So what would the public expect if they came here this weekend? What's in it for them?
You're going to see the Formula 1 monsters, top fuel, that go 0 to 100 mile an hour in less than a second and cross the line just under 300 mile an hour. You'll see the pro stocks, the equivalent of British touring car, and you'll see British alcohol, European top alcohol, which is really the equivalent of Formula 3000. What will you see? Real sheer exhilaration, speed, noise, and some scary motor racing.
So there you have it, drag racing. And apart from not being able to hear anymore, I've had a top day. So if you're a speed demon and you thrive off vibration, then drag racing is definitely your game. It'll set your heart racing and your head thumping and give you a really good run for your money.
Next week, Pen Roberts takes a look at the Royale Sabre and we go back to Stoneleigh.